March 17th, 2025, week in review. Let's start with Albany. So last week I was in Albany for the Open announcement. It was a really good trip. Actually, toured around the venue, spent some time at the affiliate, spent some time with the athletes. That was a lot of fun. The athletes were great. Tyson and Travis were great. Tyson Bajent, Travis Bajent. Tyson, obviously, he introduced the workout, and Travis, who has been around CrossFit for a very long time, he tossed it over to his son. And so Travis actually worked. Sevon introduced me to Travis in 2009 at the 2009 CrossFit Games, or prior to that. And he said, "Hey, you should have this guy come out and be involved." And so he came out, and he's a huge dude and a professional arm wrestler. And that year we had a deadlift ladder that the athletes were going to do. And a day before the actual event, or 2 days before, we had the deadlift ladder all laid out. And I called Travis out. I was young and full of confidence and strong at the time, but dumb for thinking I could beat Travis Bajent, who had no CrossFit experience in a deadlift ladder. He had no CrossFit experience, but he was twice my size and very strong. So we went through the deadlift ladder, and I forgot how far I got, but he got much further and beat me. And then he brought out his table, and we did some arm wrestling stuff. He actually taught me how to arm wrestle. And so over the years, he called a number of events. He was an MC for a number of events, and we stayed in contact. And his son, he was saying this a decade ago that his son was going to be a great quarterback, and here we are. His son's a quarterback for the Chicago Bears, backup quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So really cool story. And he's been CrossFitting for his most of his life, the child. So it's cool to see that someone with CrossFit has made it that far. And obviously, it's not just because of CrossFit; it's because of his skill and ability on the field. But that CrossFit can support that and help him out. It's a great story, and that we could highlight it in the Open is also very cool. And then those after they announced it, the athletes threw down and put on a great show. I was blown away by their results, by their times, and it was cool seeing Tyson just complete it in general. That part was very cool. While there, we also again toured the MVP arena. The athletes really liked it; they were blown away, which was super cool. That was neat to see. We threw some passes, threw the football around inside of MVP arena, and while there, I also just toured the town. Um, spent some time just getting familiar with the location. So really good visit. Um, I did hit up the workout the next day. So I flew back the next day, Friday. Saturday, I hit up the workout and I did not do well. It's interesting because I think I felt good on the first two workouts. I didn't do great, but I felt confident. I felt like I did okay. On this one, there is no confidence. Like, this is what the Open's about. And this is exactly why I don't program the Open for myself. I program it for everyone and to expose people because it exposed me. And I've always had really poor shoulder overhead mobility and flexibility, so I'm not good. I don't have good overhead strength. I also don't have good handstand push-ups, and I also do not have good wall walks. So I did not get that far in the workout, and I'm pretty disappointed at how I did. I got two after the clean and jerks, and it's all because of how slow, two wall walks after the clean and jerks or cleans. It's all because of how slow and difficult the wall walks are for me. I think if I would have gone any faster on the wall walks, I would have started failing. I've thought this is probably the only one I'm not going to redo because I've thought about redoing it today, but my upper body, my traps, my shoulders, my tris are so sore. I don't think there's any, and I don't think there's any way I can do that any faster because the only thing I could do faster is the wall walks. And every rep I was on the verge of missing or failing. So here we are. Kind of a disappointing end for my effort in the Open, but it is what it is, and it gives me fire to work on these things that you think after 20 years I would have worked on, but I have not. So I actually have. It's much better than it has been. But so not the finish I wanted in the Open, but now I have to save it and focus and start training for the Community Cup. Something interesting I want to share and talk about is the prize money. I was looking today at who was in first through third on the leaderboard for the men and the women, and then it reminded me of our prize money. So I'm going to share my screen here, and let me share. This is a document I shared a few weeks ago on a call. I'm going to share it again. And so, okay, we can see it here. Here's the individual prize. So here's where it's netted out. About 232,000 people signed up for the Open. That means for the Open, 116,000 went to individual prize money. And from the Open, about 464,000 went to affiliate prize money. So what's really cool at the end of this, we talked about this on the show a little, 13 affiliates. So a total of 92 for performance based will win $2,500 gift cards, and another 92 for participation based will win 9,200 or $2,500 gift cards. For a total of 185 affiliates from this year's Open are going to get gift cards, which is super cool. Let's look at what that means for the individuals, their prize money. So in years past, 25.1, we would have given 2,500 and $1, or was it 100? I don't remember, for the first Open announcement. This year it's much higher because of the way we broke it out, and actually for the overall winners, it's way higher. So I don't even think we had overall winners in the past. This year, as leaderboard as it stands now, Colton's in first, Dallin's in second, Kale Lehman's in third. Feroza Sagafi is in first for the women. Danielle Brandon is second, and Kristen Holte is in third. So these athletes are all. Colton's going to get 14,000 just for winning the Open, unless he has something disastrous happen on 25.3, which I don't think is the case. Dowlin's going to get 8,700 for second. Kale's going to get 5,800 for third. Same thing here with this athlete. Danielle's going to get 8,700, and Kristen Holte is going to get 5,800. Now, what's really cool when you look at someone like Colton, he is getting that 14,000 for winning. He won the first workout, so he's getting basically $5,000 for that. He won the second workout, so he's getting $5,000 for that. He took, let's say, second. Let's say hypothetically he gets second in this final workout. He will get $2,900 for that. So Colton from the Open is going to make $27,000 from the Open. And these athletes as a whole, not these 6 on the screen here, but all of them who took second and third, etc., we're giving 116,000 away in the Open. So that's really cool. Neat to look at. Hold on, let me stop sharing that. There we go. And so the Open money for those guys, and obviously for Colton, who dominated, is pretty significant. Let's jump into comments now. At Gray Ghost 07, great choice for having Dallin, Jason, and James Tyson too for the live Open announcement. It's refreshing to see the hype and positivity they bring to CrossFit. They are so relatable too, because we all have those relationships at our gyms. Friends who love the competition and can trash talk without being offended. Well done, Dave. I hope we can see more of them as the season progresses. I think it's inevitable we're going to see more of them as the season progresses. I mean, those are the 3 dominant male athletes in the field, and they are the future of CrossFit, the competition scene, the future of the sport, especially when you look at Dallin and James, as young as they are, and their journey and what they've done is exactly why we put the teenage division in X number of years ago, over a decade ago. I don't remember exactly when we decided to put the teen division in, but early on when we did that, we were stating, and I said to people, hey, the teen division is someday going to be the feeder for the individual, and we will see people do crossover. Not all of them do, but a good number do. And in the example of those two, one, James at this point has crossed over and actually won the games, and Dallin has won multiple times at the team, and I think he will for sure win the CrossFit Games at some point in the near future. He's that dominant. He's that well-rounded. So seeing the evolution from the teen event into the individuals and see them progress like that, and it's happened on the women's side too, is pretty cool. What's interesting about the teen division in general in the Open and in the history of the Open, it's not like incredibly well. There's not tens of thousands of teens that sign up for the Open. There's a few thousand. And as that grows in the future, I think we'll see more and more of the games athletes having come from that base. At Keeping It Real CrossFit, can the Community Cup change your skill level on the app? If I'm a 7 and I beat everyone, can I become an 8, for instance? Hold on. I don't think so. Hold on. I don't know what you're asking. Can the Community Cup change your skill level on the app? If I'm a 7 and I beat everyone, no, no, no. So at the Community Cup, you won't bounce up from there, but you'll win it. At Fergie Show, hey Dave, any chance you will quit using scale movements for 55 plus age groups? I understand using lighter weights in your younger age groups. The jumping pull-ups and scaled wall walks are not RX movements. We can handle the challenge of RX standards. We are going to look into that. I sent an email out to organize a call with the CrossFit Athlete Council age group section of it specifically to discuss some of this, but we will look into that. At Stephen Dix 8042, 25.3, a better test for the masses. Unreal times for the elite. It's such a shame they don't get paid as much as other sports, such as golf or football or soccer or even tennis. The effort they put in is phenomenal in comparison. A few more years, hopefully the sport will be there. They definitely deserve it. We need a big sponsor like Nike or Adidas to come into the sport and see it explode. A better test for the masses. Better 25.3, a better test for the mass. It's interesting. Someone mentioned to me that the 25.2 would have been better at the end because of the pull-ups and thrusters, and 25.3 would have been better in the second spot. There's a decent argument there, but I feel like we always end on thrusters and pull-ups, and people always expect that, and it's not always but often. So wanted to mix that up, wanted to mess with that flow, and decided to move basically the thrusters and the pull-ups the second week, and then obviously pushing that event or that test to the third week. In terms of they don't get paid as much as other sports such as golf, football, soccer, or even tennis. Yeah, and that's true. And that's just also the reality of the market and the reality of the economics of this, where the sport is in its current state. The other thing I want, meaning that's the money's just not there. I mean, to think that they should get paid like football players or soccer players, and I assume when you say soccer, you're talking about European or even the MLS, um, is pretty. You're not looking at the complete picture and not seeing, what the sponsorship, what the scene of sponsorships looks like currently, what the viewership is on some of this stuff, what the opportunities are, and the other piece that's very true in all of this. I'm going to read out the sports that you mentioned again: golf, football, soccer, or even tennis. Watch this. How long has golf been around? Golf has been around. It corrected it to gold, not gold. How long has golf been around? Golf has been around since it originated in 15th century Scotland. Okay, that's a really good example, but a bad example because it's so old. So golf's been around for centuries. How long has football been around? Football has been around for, okay, the earliest forms of this isn't working. The earliest forms of football date back over 2,500 years. Let me ditch the search. So golf's been around for hundreds of years. Football started early last century. Soccer has been around for hundreds of years. Tennis, same thing, hundreds of years. You're comparing us to sports that have been around for a very long time and have a massive foundation built underneath them. I suspect even 20 years into their growth and development that they were probably not even where we are. So I think people get greedy with what they want and what they expect from the sport, and want it now instead of being patient. The same thing happens in the development of an athlete for CrossFit. People want everything now instead of respecting the journey and being patient and taking the time it gets there. I think the money will eventually increase, but it's going to take time and patience and just a building up of the community and a building up of the affiliates and a build up of CrossFit as a methodology. And I don't think so. We need a big sponsor like Nike or Adidas to come in to see the sport to the sport and see it explode. It's not that simple. There's a lot more factors than just a big sponsor coming in. I mean, we've had a big sponsor before. We had Reebok, and it helped, and it did infuse. It helped, but it helped everything grow, but it didn't take it to like the level of the NFL or some of these other professional sports. At K Gill, comment for next week's week in review. 25.3, how come you didn't reduce the calories on the rower for females and 55 plus athletes? We could have easily, obviously. We decided not to. The calories on the row, like they all still competed against each other. The women competed against the women. Um, I think if we wanted to lower the calories for the women to try to time domain match the finishes to the men, I mean, you could have, but we chose not to. Still, it's its own competition of they're all measured against each other. So I think it's fine the way it played out. At Bernie Perez, hi, hey Dave, I'd love to hear your thoughts on tech and sports. Have you considered using AI to help verify range of motion for reps or no reps? It could be a game changer for reviewing open video submissions and even for live events. Not trying to plug my app, okay, so you have an app, but if anyone's interested in proof of concept, I'm happy to share the link. All right, email it to me, dave@crossfit.com. I'll check it out. Yeah, I think tech and sports is great. I think if there's anything that can improve the experience for the athletes, it's something worth looking at. I definitely think we should consider things like that if they are viable and going to actually do the job we need them to do. At Ryder Champollion, TDC, you're drinking too much EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. In 10 plus years, 25.2's clues has been the only clue that ever clearly made sense. The entire CrossFit community would love to see a compilation of your historical clues and how you think those clues make any sense whatsoever. No way, no how any sanity comes from your clues. That's not true. There's so much information in every one of those clues to what the actual event that week will be that sometimes I actually think I should not post this because it's too obvious on what the clue is. And in terms of drinking too much extra virgin olive oil, I consume a lot of extra virgin olive oil because I have an olive oil, small little olive oil company now. For those of you who don't know, I sell olive oil, tdcmercantile.com. Thanks for letting me plug this. It's right there on this StreamYard link. And you can buy extra virgin olive oil, also known as EVOO, locally grown, locally sourced. When I say locally, 30 minutes from here. I package it, I sell it, I ship it with the family. We also have garlic flavored olive oil, and we also have lemon infused olive oil. So, opportunity to plug the olive oil. And here's what's cool about olive oil: it's just such a pure thing, and it's such a healthy fat that is. It's not a gimmick. It's been around for millennia and will continue to be around for centuries after all of us exist. And it's organic. So try it out. At RexZ_9, hear me out, 2 opens per year. So we did that one year. And basically in 2018, when Greg upended all the structure and all the format, 2018 was our high mark. We had 418,000 people register. I think it was later in that year he decided to do another open. And the second open, it dropped. That was the first. So every year in the open, up until that point, we had massive growth. And then at that point, the number went down. And then the next year, the open that was actually in the next year, its number went down too. And so back then, too, the open was 5 weeks. So 2 opens in 1 year at 5 weeks. Think about that. Basically, 1/5 of your year is competing in the open or doing something with the open. I think 2 opens is too much. 2 events or multiple online events, I don't think is too much. I think we should have online competitions every week. Not every week, I'm sorry, every month. I think we should have small online competitions. I think we should have large online competitions. Bill does them on a month, Rogue does them on a monthly basis. We should be doing something like that. We should have the team series again. We should have the liftoff. I think there's a lot to be developing in this world, in the online world, but for various reasons, we have not been able to do all of those. But I think there's a lot more opportunity, and they're all not going to be like the open, meaning they're all not going to have several 100,000 people sign up, and that's also okay. At Stronger Everyday 714, hey Dave, I've enjoyed the open so far, and this will be the first time I've done all 3 workouts RX, third year in. Now I'm excited for the Community Cup. I want to stay involved, and competition motivates me. Was it announced where that money will be going? Any more money to the game's prize purse, adaptive masters, affiliates? Just wondering. I'll be signing up regardless. Thanks for all you do. I just went over the money for the Open, for the Community Cup. That money isn't going to prizes like this one is. That's just kind of helping facilitate and put on all the other things and the games essentially and everything else we do. So, final piece of this call, or not call, but this week in review. A couple months ago, late last year, Sevon hit me up and he said, "Hey man, there's this trainer who Taylor Self is working with, and he's really good. And like Taylor Self is a level 3 trainer, full time coach at CrossFit Charlotte, and he also sells his own programming. Decided he wanted to take the level 4." And so signed up for the CrossFit Mentor program and started working with one of our mentors. He was blown away by the mentor. He said that mentor taught him so much stuff and made him feel like a brand new trainer. And this the breakdown of Taylor and the amount he was able to give him feedback on and make him a better trainer really impressed Taylor. And so Sevon said, "Hey, we want to highlight this trainer and we want to do a piece on this trainer." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "Do you think you guys would be cool with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And so then a week later or so, this was late November, that trainer emailed me and he said, "Hey, Dave," and I haven't talked to him in a really long time, but not a really long time, but maybe a couple years, but he's been on our seminar staff for over a decade, and he is someone I worked with at our events a number of occasions. And he emailed saying, "Taylor and Sevon," or maybe just he said Taylor would like to do a piece, interview me, and talk about the mentorship thing and the mentorship program and coaching. Is that okay?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I told him, I said, "Hey, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you that you have made such an impact on them, and they're so impressed with you, and that they really want to highlight what you're doing." And they ended up doing the piece. I heard the piece is really good. You can probably Google it and find it. And then last week, so it was Saturday morning, and Joe from my team reaches out and says, "Hey," he tried calling, but I was at a coffee shop with some people, so I didn't answer. And he said, "Hey, really tragic news." And so I call him back, and he said, "Hey, McCoy Turner has died by suicide." And I was like, "What?" And so McCoy Turner was this individual who Taylor worked with, who then emailed and asked to do the piece. And he was one of the trainers who was on our seminar staff. And a couple weeks ago, um, he took his own life in his gym. What's I'm actually going to pull up something else on the screen. Hold on. So this is the Just Giving page that they started to support his 2 children. I'm going to read this. So CrossFit Choice, Paul Ornston, and Carl Thorpe. I've been talking to Carl through the past few days. They started this page. There's a picture of McCoy. He was, I'll just read this first. "I'm raising 42,000 pounds to fund the celebration of McCoy Topsy Turner, who sadly passed on 8/3/25. All funds will go direct to his sons." McCoy Turner grew up in Loisemouth, Scotland, and joined the British Royal Navy in 2000, where he served for 17 years as a physical training instructor, specializing as exercise rehabilitation instructor, serving on several deployments, including a tour of Afghanistan as part of Op Herrick 14. After being medically discharged in 2017, McCoy relocated to Bali in Indonesia, where he continued to work for seminar staff as a red shirt, where he went on to achieve the status of level 4 coach, flow master, and CrossFit coaching mentor, delivering 256 CrossFit level 1 and level 2 coaching seminars across Europe and Asia. After a long and often silent battle with complex PTSD, it is with deepest sorrow that we must inform you of his passing on Saturday, the 8th, March 2025, where he took the decision to end his own life. We hope that his friends, military Oppos, and the global CrossFit communities will reach out and support one of the very best men I've had the pleasure to know. By now, supporting his children, had the pleasure to know. By now, supporting his children, it is our aim to raise funds that will go to assist his two sons, Brody and Tommy, 13, as they navigate the next extremely difficult chapter of their lives without their father. So, if you can, please go to this link. I'll put it in the bio here on this page and donate. It was one of those things when I first heard, and then when I talked to other people on the team about it, those of us who all knew him, we all knew he struggled and we all thought he was doing so much better. And then we all think, damn, what could we have done? How could we have helped? And it's just in talking to I've talked to a lot of friends and a lot of people about this, and talking to someone else, they actually said, hey, and the sad part is this probably isn't going to go away anytime soon in regards to other people we know and other people um, who've served or even who are in other lines of work or even have experienced other tragedies are affected in ways that sometimes it's hard to relate or understand what they're going through. So this is honestly just like another reminder of if you have friends or if you have anyone who you think might need help or might need more support, you know, offer it up, be a voice, be someone they can talk to, be someone they can listen to, because the struggle for people, um, for individuals is real, and any support we can give at any time can make a difference. And I'll close with this. I talked to Sarah Wilkins in the morning this happened. And I said, I told her what happened. And one of her pieces of advice was, hey, whatever you guys do, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about the fact that it was suicide, because if you don't, it doesn't bring awareness to the real problem that it is. And so, and then when we messaged it out originally, we did not mention suicide, and I actually was kind of torn by that because of the conflict, what Sarah was recommending, and then what we were doing in the initial stages. It did make sense in the initial stages, just to make sure everybody understood. I'm sorry, just to make sure like the rest of the family and everyone knew prior to us saying anything. But it's a real problem, and we do need to talk about it, and um, we need to put effort into raising awareness around this and then helping those who need help. All right, well, thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you guys next week. As always, post comments to post your thoughts in the comment section. All right, out.